On this week's show, we're discussing the Grand Theft Auto 6 leaks that seemingly are everywhere as they're being held ransom, Horizon Hunters Gathering going back to the drawing board, and opening night live Gamescom predictions. All that and much, much more on this week's GamerGuild Podcast. Good game, everyone, and welcome back to your weekly gaming show, the GamerGuild Podcast, where we get together to round up all of the week's video game news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/GamerGuildTV and available up there in the digital clouds on your podcast platform of choice. Just search for the GamerGuild Podcast and you'll find us there every Monday, 8 a.m. live, as we have done for the last 7 years. We do have a great show lined up for you, and your podcast players for this week are myself, Chris at Arcane Rogue, and the man of many pixels, Mr. Richie. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone.
Hello indeed. And as I mentioned, we do have a great show lined up for you. Also, if you haven't done this already, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring a ding ding that bell so you're kept in the loop with all the great content we do here, like this very show, like our weekly live streams, which this week, Richie, is none other than The Wolverine Origins. Part 1 went up for everyone in the public. Our guild heroes, the members of the channel, you get it a week early, so that Part 2 is up for you now. And yeah, good stuff. There's lots of retro stuff going on. There's a couple of first looks. I would have had next week Plague Tale Resonance. That drops next week. However, I'm in France, so I won't be playing it until I get home. And then it's kind of pointless after you've missed that kind of initial window. It's gone. Yeah, it's out. It's out this week. Comes on Thursday, I believe it is. So I'll be away in Disneyland, so I won't be playing it. But you'll be here, Richie. You'll be playing something, and we like to start every show with what we've been playing. So do fill us in on your last 7 days of twiddling your thumbs.
I've just been working my way through E8 still, making a lot of progress and getting towards the end of the game. Now,
how many hours is the end of the game?
I haven't got a clue. I don't count hours, like, you know this.
Just roughly.
I never do.
Like, have you sunk 10 months into it, or 10 hours?
I reckon I've probably got about 10 plus hours left to like roll credits.
Brilliant. And what have you got?
When I roll credits, that will basically be the game almost 100%ed.
Perfect. Oh, I love it when you kind of wrap up naturally and you're almost done with a cheeky platinum.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm going to go for it. I'm still debating it, but it has one of my current pet hates in video games, and it's hard mode trophies. Harder difficulty, so I'd have to play through the entire game again. But it's also the true ending, not just roll credits and a harder difficulty.
Oh, okay, right.
So it's like, I think it's more doable than like things like Pragmata, because it actually has New Game Plus properly.
Mm-hmm.
So that carries you a long way through it. But I don't know. It's one that I don't know if I can be bothered. I'll make that decision when I roll credits.
Yeah, I think we said last week, didn't we, that it's one of them that you might have to just kind of leave and come back to and just do a solo hard playthrough in like X amount of years' time. Does this give you encouragement to go on to the next in the series, or are you kind of like done with this for a while and you'll move on to something new?
What, East 9 months from Knox, which I played on Stadia?
Yeah.
I've had my eye. Well, I'm not interested in playing East 9 again. I enjoyed it, but it was nowhere near as good as 8, in my opinion. East 10, however, is out. It's been on my list for a while, but it's not a priority. I was just playing this because I started reading the novel while I was on holiday. Yeah, you mentioned. And I needed something to kill a bit of time. So,
what would you say?
When I roll credits.
Now you're kind of coming to the end. What would you say it's most likely like if you were to compare it to like another mainstream game that people might be familiar with? Is it a Final Fantasy-esque?
In a way, more like a more modern Final Fantasy, where it's a bit more button mashy action RPG.
Okay.
Well, rather than the traditional turn-based kind of style.
Right.
Well, yeah, it is a JRPG classic. Well, I don't even know if it might actually be classified as an RPG. It's basically just a Japanese action game. It's fun.
Good. And what have you got lined up next?
I don't know. It depends when I finish East 8. whether this is why I'm debating the hard mode playthrough, because Wolverine comes out 15th of September.
Of course, yeah.
We're not really that far away from it. Do I find something small to fill the gap for a week or two, or do I just do a hard mode playthrough? So I'm not sure, but I kind of do want Wolverine Day and Date as my next big title.
Yeah, and then you've got Control, which we'll talk about soon. So could you squeeze Alan Wake in the next 3 weeks?
No. I feel like I'd have to rush it.
Maybe. We'll
and
see.
There's news on Control, which makes me go, well,
yeah,
we'll get into
it.
Anyway.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
I've been playing Ratchet and Clank Ranger Rumble because I got the beta access on the Android Play Store. So for those who can't remember, this is when PlayStation did like a slew of announcements of new first-party games, and it turned out it was actually a new Ratchet and Clank game, not for the PS5, a new Horizon game, not for the PS5, and everyone thought, what are they playing at? Well, this one's out in beta. It's I played about half an hour, 40 minutes, and it basically made me just want to play the main Ratchet and Clank game, not more of this. So as far as a mobile game goes, it's decent. Like it's got like almost like a cel shady art style, so it's definitely not up there with like the Rift Apart like fidelity if you're looking for that. It's got a bunch of new characters. The character you start as Widget, and it's basically like battle arenas. And I do think like if you were, it's free to play. It's got your typical like microtransactions or things to speed up your coin collection or your gems, whatever your currency is in the game. If you want better weapons and level up your character and stuff, but it plays fun. The movement was quite natural. It had like auto shoot lock on, so you didn't have to keep tapping the screen to shoot. It's got lots of kind of different mini games within it, like Team Deathmatch. There's like a Rocket League version. Get the capture the flag, which is like a golden cog or something like that. And I do think if you were like a young child and it was like a free to play game, it's like definitely worth a pop. And I could see a younger version of me playing this for quite a while. But then it came to like the microtransaction grindy bit, and I just thought, like, to what end am I playing this? Like, I'm not getting anything out of it other than leveling up. And that's when it just made me go, eh.
I had something similar a few months ago with Dragon Quest Smash Bros, the mobile game.
Okay.
And it was good at first, but in order to play a lot of the content, once you kind of finished the main story of the other content, you had to really engage in the gotcha mechanics.
Yeah.
Oh, dare they get a random item and goes, oh, shit. And you really needed to get actually the best items to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like it was so grindy. You could get a lot of gear just by playing the game naturally, but it's all random chance.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, I've got some tokens. I'll go to the gotcha thing. Garrett's like, oh, I've got nothing decent now. I've only got a load of shit. And go, well, I've been playing for a few hours and I'm no further forward.
Yeah. To what end? And I think without the story,
eventually I can't. And the rate they would bring out content as well, and a lot of the content was time locked, so it might be only up for a couple of weeks. And so there's some items which I just never managed to get because I just, without spending money, because I refused to.
Yep.
I didn't get the drops.
Yeah.
So, and then they were gone.
So what's the point? Like, to what end?
Yeah. So I really enjoyed it at first, but eventually their mechanics really wear you down. And it's like, it's just so detrimental to the game. And my thing is, I get why they do it, because they do it to keep people engaged and to start spending money, where I kind of go, actually, you're making me less want to spend money. I'd be more inclined to spend a couple of quid if I could just buy the item, say spend 50p and buy a sword, rather than have to spend a couple of quid to get some tokens to go into the gotcha thing. It's like, well, then I'm sending money for a random chance. It's like that shit pushes me out the game massively.
I think that's where we as like kind of veteran gamers who've been familiar with having games for 30 odd years, kind of you buy the game and there it is, and we've kind of survived the microtransaction phase. And now with mobile games, I do think if you're of a younger audience, that is just the norm. Same with subscription models and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think for like people like you and me who just kind of like, it feels like the game's almost been reverse engineered to not make it fun.
They engineer it to get people addicted and to spend money, not to make a good game.
Enjoy
and that's the problem. And I can see that working behind the scenes.
Yeah. I mean, they're not shying away from it, but yeah, Ratchet and Clank Ranger Rumble. The biggest one initially that put me off was they have like quite an interesting opening cutscene of like, why are you there? Captain Quark shows up, but no voice acting. it's all just text on screen. So all these characters I'm familiar with, when Ratchet shows up, Clank shows up, it's just text. And I can hear it in my...
Not a terrible idea for a mobile game, actually. I'm actually in favour of that in a mobile game, because what is it, again, you don't want people walking around playing games making fucking noise on their phones.
Yeah, but the whole characters of Ratchet and Clank, like their character and energy is kind of that. But yeah, you can see there
so
on
you're losing
the main screen.
You just want to show off your new phone.
I do, yeah, because it does work really, really well. But like, just if you go into the main actual game over there, if I can tap it. Oh no, wait, it wants me to switch modes to a different one. To a different game mode. So yeah, it does play really well on this. I will print that out again. But you can kind of see, so it's initially in beta, it's just versus bots. And you kind of start, so you see what I mean? It doesn't look horrible at all.
Yeah, it looks, well, to be fair, nowadays phones are good enough.
Yeah, and then you basically move around with this thing, use your other hand to kind of look, which is very hard, back to front, upside down.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're doing quite well considering you're doing this in cam, like in reverse.
There you go. And you can see like auto locks on and shoots like that. And then you've got your special maneuvers to do other shit. But yeah, essentially that's it in a nutshell. But that's not what the show is in a nutshell. This show, Richie, is about the news. And I can't introduce it until you say the special words that are...
The graciously gathered GamerGuild Gazette, aka the news.
The news. And as always, the news is brought to you by our wonderful guild heroes, the members of the channel who support that extra little bit further, just like you can from as little as 99p. You get early access to this very show, early access to the Wolverine currently, early access to PlayStation Retro Hunt, stickers and badges next to your name in our live chats whenever we rarely do them. But you support us, more importantly, you support a small independent YouTube channel trying to make it in the big bad world of the interwebs. And we thank you all. There's also usually some decent merchandise discounts going on throughout the seasonal changes into autumn. We'll talk more about that in the coming weeks as we celebrate our 7th anniversary. But, Richie, story number 1. Gamescom is imminent. It's actually this week, which crept up on me, I think, because I was going away. I didn't really think anything. So Jeff Keighley's back. Gamescom is the biggest gaming event on the planet every single year. It's in Cologne, Germany, and they get about 100,000 people. And I think the best thing about this one, very reminiscent of E3, is actual public, members of the public can attend. They can get hands-on with games. They can look at previews. I don't think they get into the official kind of arena where he does his stage presentation just to kick off the event. But you get to go, and it's something that I'd love to do at some point. But it's coming. It's coming. It's,
I'd love to go to Gamescom.
It's imminent. It's this Tuesday, is it? 25th? Just get my dates right. Yeah, Tuesday. So the show goes live. It'll be tomorrow. Yeah. It runs for a couple of days, but the opening night live, as I said, is hosted by Jeff Keighley. This is his kind of like third of the year. He has his Game Awards. He has his Summer Game Fest. This is the one where he hosts and produces the show, but he doesn't kind of run the whole event. So this is probably the least important one on his radar, I would say. Yeah. And I never quite know how much pull he actually has. Like, does Gamescom have the same sway that the Game Awards had? Or is it kind of just Gamescom get what they can and Jeff kind of does his best to splice it all together into a broadcastable show?
I don't know, to be honest.
Because we've watched them a couple of times over the years, but one thing that is guaranteed is you get a couple of announcements, a couple of surprises, lots of indie games, and a hell of a lot of adverts, as per usual. Before we get into any predictions, Richie, do you want to talk about just the things that have been guaranteed as confirmed for the show by Jeff or through their own channel so far? And where would you like to start?
Yeah. Well, we're looking at an article from Inside the Gamer, so I'd say we start at the top of what their bullet points. So with Final Fantasy VII Revelation.
Ooh, yes. Obviously, it was revealed at Summer Game Fest, I want to say.
Yes. Yeah, I think it might be.
And you're the big Final Fantasy guy. What do you expect to see?
To be honest, I'd expect just another trailer. They've talked at length now about how this will wrap up the story of Final Fantasy VII, and any DLCs or anything they may work on will be expanding the story in the universe. So the story the story of Final Fantasy VII will be wrapped up in the base game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll see a bit more from some of the new party members, which haven't really featured that much yet or weren't party members. So like Vincent Valentine, you're looking at Sid, like these characters who you have met in the previous entry, but that are now going to be party members. They'll probably maybe show off a bit of the update of the combat system. I think that's where I'm leaning towards. I think this is going to be a gameplay focused.
Yeah.
kind of like trailer.
And do you think we'll get a date?
No, I don't think we will.
Maybe at the Game Awards, maybe tease it a bit more
I'm
here.
Feeling, yeah. I'm thinking it's going to be. Do we even have a year on it yet? Oh, actually, mate, I might take that back because there's Q1. It's currently slated for Q1, Q2 next year.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe lock it down a bit more, even though it'll inevitably delay it or something.
It depends how you find. Would you say Q1 would be like April?
Up till it'll be the tax year, I would have thought.
Yeah, so Q1 will be probably from April to May, June, April to June. Q2 July.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, I don't think we'll get a date. I think they'll save that for the Game Awards.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then
because we're still almost. It's probably about a year out at this point.
That's true. What I'm excited for is for this to all be finalized and over. It will inevitably get a complete edition in probably another year's time.
Yeah.
But I think just the team that's been working on this for how many years now? The collective 3. You must be talking a decade plus, right? They've been working on these.
Remake came out in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 years, but they'll have done probably maybe 4 or 5 years before.
Of course,
about 10 years.
Yeah, so it'll be great to have the complete edition there, probably on PS6 to be honest, if we're looking at a timeline. And I'll be excited to see this particular studio over at Square be able to move on to something else. Do you think they get them on another remake straight away, or do you think they get to flex and maybe do another numerical entry?
They've talked about other games actually, and basically their view was to do one of the other Final Fantasies that people are asking for. It would require maybe 5 or 6 entries. Yeah, the estimate to do it the way they've done 7.
Yeah.
My thoughts when I read that though is, well, you don't necessarily have to do it the way you've done 7, where you've expanded things. You could stay closer to the original narrative and split it like that way.
Yeah.
Because you have to remember, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Midgar is the full game.
Mm-hmm.
In the original Final Fantasy VII, it's about 4 hours of about an 80-hour game. So they've expanded that part of the game massively. So I feel like you don't necessarily need to do it that way. But from the tone of that interview, I think their thoughts are not on doing an 8 or 9 remake at this point.
Yeah, give it a bit of a breather.
Which is fair.
And then obviously the studio that did 16 must be 2.5, 3 years deep on whatever their next entry is.
17. Probably.
I mean, yeah, probably, unless they've got them on something random or different.
You never know. Once they've wrapped up on Revelation, this team might join up with that other team to really work on them 17.
Plenty of exciting stuff, though.
Who knows? Yeah.
In terms of the other games, then we've got I guess to give folks a rundown of what to expect. Metro 2039, which I believe was another title that was revealed at the Game Awards. We've got Silent Hill Townfall, which was also revealed at Summer Game Fest. I think that's imminent. I believe Townfall's this. Part of me wants to say September. I feel like it clashes with another couple of games. Tides of Annihilation, Gears of War E-Day, Exodus, which is the sci-fi one, Anata, which I'm not too sure of, Ontos, which I'm not too sure of, Game of Thrones War for Westeros, which is that the RPG one that we've kind of been hoping for some time?
I'm not sure.
We've got Valor Mortis, Pony Island 2, Path of Exile 2, Monster Hunter Outlanders.
is a real-time. War for Westeros is a real-time strategy.
That should be perfect, right? You would think. But what that means in reality is
Tides of Annihilation. It's a game I just completely forget exists.
Did we say War?
Tides of Annihilation initially announced around about the same time as Claire Obscura?
Yeah, I think so.
It's the one that's set in London.
Oh yes, yeah, I remember now. Was the Game of Thrones one the one that looked like a mobile game, though? Was that a different one that we've already had? Because there's so many of them. I feel like there's one called Dragon Reign, which was promoted with the show House of the Dragon. this season. But this one is the one that I think, in my own mind's eye, it's wild to think with all like the RTSs we've had, like Age of Empires over the years, Age of Mythology, Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle Earth, how Game of Thrones was not yet adapted, even though the whole series came and went. It's like celebrating its 15th anniversary this year, and how we've gone nearly 2 decades without a Game of Thrones RTS blows my mind. Because it could be done epic.
I don't think we've actually... I'm having a look now, and the only thing I can find is like almost a teaser for gameplay. Literally, there's a teaser that says "Open the Night Live gameplay reveal." We haven't seen the proper gameplay.
So we've just
yet.
seen the CGI trailer, which is Jon Snow and everyone fighting.
From the teaser I'm looking at right now, it's basically a CGI trailer that cuts to the top-down perspective, and it's got like basically 2 armies and the dragons running at each other. It looks pretty good,
right?
But we'll get a proper gameplay reveal tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I mean, that could be... It's been a good time. It's been a good minute since I sat down with a new RTS game. But it could get me back. What I love the most from the trailer is it has the likeness of all the characters, and that, for me, is a big win. As soon as it looks like Kit Harington and everyone else, that legitimizes it for me. Where I'm like, right, that's what I see in my mind's eye when I read the Game of Thrones books, is the TV guys. This could be great. And we're overdue a good RTS. War for Westeros is a cool name. Battle for Middle Earth is a cool name. Bring it.
I just don't know when I'd play an RTS.
Yeah, same. I want to like
console.
It. That's true. Battle for Middle Earth.
It's like if I bought it, sat down here at my PC and played it, I'd enjoy it a lot for an evening. I don't know when I'd go back to it.
Yeah. Anything else stand out there? I think Silent Hill Townfall for me does look good. And because I've been on the Resident Evil trend recently, I think if that came out and had really good reviews, that I think could hook me in. Because all the other Silent Hills, I missed the boat on them first time round. I didn't really get to play the remakes, even though they were very well reviewed from Bloober Team. Silent Hill F, which was the Japanese one, inspired one that we got last year, was reviewed okay, I believe. It was quite well received by some people. But Townfall, there's something about it. I think going first person, it's almost got that Resident Evil energy about it, where they got their mini reboot with 7. It feels like it's got really good potential, and it's got that. Is it based in like the 80s or something as well in Scotland? So it's got like a different era vibe to it. But I think if that reviews well, if it gets me at the right time, that's probably the one out of this list aside from Game of Thrones.
I can see a lot of people being interested in Valor Mortis. Read from Steam. Valor Mortis is a first-person action Souls-like from the creators of Ghost Runner. Rise from death as a former soldier of Napoleon's army, wield supernatural powers, battle horrifying monsters, and unravel a conspiracy that threatens all humanity. If you're into your Souls-like stuff and you know what, you prefer first person, I think it's the first person thing that makes me go, that's an interesting take, because I can't think of any first person Souls-likes off the top of my head.
Yeah, very true. It's also from the people who made Ghost Runner, which was a fantastic, it was like Mirror's Edge, but with guns. And like a cyberpunk theme over it, but yeah. Plus the name's cool. Valor Mortis is a very cool name. But yeah.
So I think that's one where I'm not personally interested in it, but I think it deserves to be acknowledged.
Yeah, if it has, I think it could have a good bit of energy, similar to how the Kingdom Come series does. That's first person. It's kind of like an independent studio trying something different and fresh. And I think a roguelike with first person in a cool world. And a cool name could work really well.
Warlock Dungeons and Dragons could be interesting. Again, reading from Steam, because Steam is useful for finding blurbs. An original single-player action-adventure set in a dark fantasy open world inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. Players Kartri, a warrior who makes a pact to wield otherworldly magic against dark powers. So it's an open-world action-adventure game. Story-rich. And I think it looks like it'll be first person, but it could be something interesting in there. Yeah. I don't think there's been any gameplay reveals, at least not that I've seen.
I've not seen any yet. I do think the Gamescom, they'll probably show off a lot of more gameplay. I think Jeff Keighley's quite good at taking on feedback from his previous shows, and one of the things that people kept saying is like, stop just showing CGI trailers. I think we had a Game Awards 2 years ago, which you and me were both just very saturated on, where it just felt like we're just seeing the same CGI stuff over and over again. And I think he's learned from that over the last 2 shows. Especially, I think the last Game Awards and Summer Game Fest this year were actually really tight and tidy. And obviously, they had the ad blocks, but they were better.
Yeah, when it comes to dark fantasy, he's some dark fantasy, some brooding character with a sword in a dungeon, looking sad, and it's like, okay, he's another dark fantasy, probably Souls-like game. It's like, show me some gameplay, I'll go away.
Yeah, agreed.
I want to see what makes this game interesting, and the setting for dark fantasy is so saturated at the moment.
Yeah, it works.
I think with Warlock, Dungeons and Dragons, because it's an official Dungeons and Dragons game, I think that adds a bit of legitimacy to it.
I would agree with that.
It's a terrible title, though.
Terrible. Yeah, it's a bit just generic.
Don't you think it would have been better as Dungeons and Dragons Warlock?
Yeah, just to give it the brand awareness and then add the spin-off name for it onto the. Yeah, completely agree. Moving away from what we know about then, we've got a few rumoured for Gamescom Open Night Live. Alien Isolation 2. This was officially revealed at the Summer Game Fest event, and it has been announced that the game's prologue is going to be playable on the show floor. So surely if it's going to be there for the public to play with, you've got to imagine that wins them a slot by default on the actual main stage. And Jeff confirmed this week a lot of the times it said some developers get like a selected slot on the stage, others pay for it. So he did kind of give a bit of a peek behind the curtain that some can pay up to $100,000 to get the trailer in the main show. Yeah. Some of them get selected for, I think he said like artistic reasons or something. And obviously, depending on the size of the game, they need enough big tentpole ones. And obviously, some studios are going to go, well, we don't need to be there. But if Jeff goes, like, we'll pay you essentially to be there, just to pad out the actual merit of the show.
It's probably one of them. Jeff might have like 5 picks, which he can just greenlight them for free.
Yeah.
So, and I imagine if it's like a major publisher, he probably wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But for an indie studio or a smaller publisher, he might go, you know what? I think you're doing onto something really good there. Take something like Expedition 33.
Yeah.
That would be one where I could see Jeff going, you've got onto something really interesting there. You're one of my picks.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not that terrible one that he really, really got behind at the Game Awards, and then it launched in February
that was tragic.
And it died in the March. I can't even remember the name of it. It was that bad. But he really like hyped it up, didn't he? He's like the next best thing
Wasn't it just an arena, like a shit arena shoot or something?
But it was with swords and horses.
Look good at all.
You could ride a horse, I think was the unique thing. Yeah, it was bad. I think Alien Isolation 2 guaranteed. Fable, it was due out this year. It got delayed to 2027, so there's not really many more opportunities for Xbox to show it off in and amongst all the busy Christmas period.
I think because it's been delayed, I think it's Game Awards. We don't need to see more Fable right now.
That's fair.
The next time we see Fable, proper release date that you're going to stick to.
Okay.
Yeah, you oversell a game. You don't want this thing where it's like you have your game at every single event, and then it never comes. So I think, I don't think it'll be there.
Well, we might get a surprise Xbox sequel. Reading from Insider Gaming, they say Xbox's surprise sequel could be a recent franchise, it's claimed. So it's been reported that Xbox is apparently plotting to drop a secret bomb on everyone during Gamescom 2026, and social media is like a who's who of Guess Who's right now. Jez Corden told his subscribers, so again, quite well linked in with the Xbox world. The game will be a shock sequel, and then it's got people suggesting Project Gotham Raiding or Banjo-Kazooie as potential ones. But
I can't see it being one of the biggest franchises.
Yeah, Nate
because
the Hit,
I think Xbox would want the stage for themselves.
Yeah, fellow leaker Nate the Hit added more details saying it's not being developed by a Microsoft-owned studio, and that it's a new title entry to an existing IP. So
Toys for Bob.
But we know Spyro, don't we? So it's not it wouldn't be a bombshell revival.
Yeah.
I can't even
Midnight
think.
2.
That would be a surprise, but I very much doubt it. Yeah, interesting one. We've got Worms. Let us know in the comments below, I guess, what you think it might be. You'll find out tomorrow. World's Galactic Tactics. So there's rumblings of a new Worm game for a while in an XCOM-esque strategy style. That's also got an official reveal happening during opening night live, so we'll see a new Worms game. The big one, which some people are expecting, is Hogwarts Legacy 2. We know there's a sequel in the works. It's been 3 years since the first one launched, so you've got to imagine they're getting to a point where they can start to tease it a little bit more.
I think the announcement, the official formal announcement of this game is due, and either this is either your show opener or your show closer. I think it's that big. It's that big of a
big
game.
One.
Probably your show closer.
Yeah,
you want one more thing.
Yeah, if he does one more thing, because we know he's kind of up and down with how he does that one.
Well, his last and at Game Awards, it was that shitty game that he got really behind. Was his one more thing? He did actually do a one more thing for it.
It's really bad.
Yeah, and he shut the bed.
Yeah, I think Hog Leg 2, WB don't do anything on their own merit anymore. They've not really got anything to fall back on, so obviously it won't be out for this Christmas. It will be next Christmas, I would say, because you always have to time Harry Potter. When does the HBO show come out? The new one?
I don't know.
That's like a 10-season HBO mega thing. I'm thinking if that's out, if that's launches, they've been shooting it and they're all kids, so it's got to be a quick
2026.
Yeah, this Christmas.
Yeah, probably will this Christmas.
So that'll be out.
I reckon this could be. I reckon next probably November or something.
Yeah.
So starting your marketing now at Gamescom.
Yeah,
seems a good bet if you've got that slot in mind.
That fits for me. And then also I think of in terms of timelines and production, they have the assets now, but more importantly, because it's Harry Potter, you kind of have to keep Hogwarts and Hogsmeade and most of the stuff. So I think for a sequel, we've always said before, they'll probably do Ministry of Magic or something, maybe Azkaban Prison or something like that. But you inevitably need your main hub to still be the school. You couldn't do a sequel and you can't walk around the school or you can't go to Hogsmeade. So maybe give us King's Cross. Maybe give just additional locations to pad out the world. But ultimately, the core of the story has to be in the school.
You're going to have Diagon Alley. You're going to have the Ministry of Magic.
Gringotts. That's a big area to explore underground as well. But I think start your market and beat up now. Promote it, Game Awards in and around when the new series launches on HBO, and then go big next Christmas with probably the second season of the show and the game. Could be right time then. It'll be about a 4.5 year turnaround for a sequel. Star Wars do it with Jedi Order. So
the one question mark I have is, and truthfully I don't think WB this smart to do it, is could they save this for the launch of the next gen hardware? So this could be potentially a 2028 thing?
Nah, I see them getting it out and then doing a complete edition for next gen.
Yeah.
Like a PS6.
An up-res
version,
a PS6 version of it. Launched about a year later.
Yeah, quite possibly. What else is there? We've got... There's some big exclusives according to Insider Gaming. They say Open Night Live is always home to some big reveals. It's impossible to predict them all, but there's some brand new IP with it. High Guard, that's the terrible one he backed.
Yeah,
High Guard.
Oh,
God. We've got a list of potential appearances here. We'll just take our pick. Resident Evil 9 DLC. I think that's a shoe-in.
Yeah,
he always shows off Resi games. It's just past 7-8 million units sold or something.
DLC though, it's not that interesting.
True, but it's a decent brand.
I think he'll make a bigger deal than he should do.
Yeah, agreed.
This is where he makes a bigger deal out of it than he should do because it's DLC.
Yeah, Forza Horizon 6 PS5 release date. We know it's coming this winter. It's sold mega on Xbox now.
I think that's a quick trailer. Isn't it?
I've just mentioned it, but Star Wars Jedi whatever 3. It's been a while.
Maybe
it's been a minute. We could get that.
Although 23's just happened, I feel like Disney might have wanted a Star Wars reveal at D23 if they were going to release it this close. I could see that if the people came out and went, we saw a trailer for Star Wars Jedi 3 at only broadcast in the hall.
Yeah,
and then I could see it being here. Otherwise, I think it could be a Game Awards thing.
Yeah, could see that. Jurassic Park Survival. This is the horror one, similar to Alien Isolation. That was revealed 2 years ago now. So again, it's the few games been ticking away. Fallout remake, and this is where I think Jeff has, if you can get them on board, there's a few titles that I think would elevate the show a little bit more. Anything from you from these predictions lists that I think would be nice to see?
I don't think Fallout 3, because again, I think this is one where a Fallout 3 remake is a fairly big deal, or should be considered a fairly big deal by Xbox. But there again, Oblivion was kind of shadow dropped.
That's true.
So Bethesda do love a shadow drop. Todd Howard is on record saying he loves a shadow drop. So
was it Fallout 4 that was like revealed, and 6 months later it was out?
Yeah, I could see Fallout. Actually, I was originally no, but I've talked myself around. But I can see a Fallout 3 remake being at Gamescom, and it comes out next month.
Just like that.
That was the kind of cadence for Oblivion. It was only like a month or two after the reveal that I was playing it.
Who did Oblivion remake? Was it just their internal studios, or did they outsource it?
It was Oblivion Remaster, co-developed by Virtuous and Bethesda Studios.
All right, so Virtuous are the guys who did the Metal Gear Solid Delta port as well, or remake, not port. So that's their bread and butter then, is
they've done Split Fiction, Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remaster, worked on Metroid 4, Metal Gear Solid. So they've got quite a lot of different stuff and
do a lot of port and remake stuff.
Yeah, I could see them working on a Fallout 3 remake.
Nice,
especially because Oblivion went down quite well. So remaster for Fallout 3, I could see that. Absolutely. I did say Fallout 4, I meant Fallout 3.
Yeah. And I think a couple of other shoe-ins. We've got 007 First Light DLC. Game's been out a couple of months now. I think that's probably primed. Control Resonant.
The DLC's been heavily talked about as well. So get a trailer out, get it out.
Yeah. And Control Resonant, which comes out next month, which we'll talk about shortly. Jeff's always pally with Remedy, trailer, so that seems a given as well. Wonderful. All right, Gamescom predictions. Let us know in the comments below what you're expecting to see tomorrow. See if we get anything right, see if we get anything wrong. But Richie and Tom will be back next week to round up all of the news and reveals from that episode, from that showcase anyway. Moving on to story number 2. Grand Theft Auto 6, of course, is imminent. The months are ticking away. The pre-orders are in. Yes, they're going to make a shit ton of money. However, all the money in the world does not stop your game from leaking. And if you've seen anything in the internet, or if you've been trying to stay away from it, the internet is rife with leaks from one particular person, a hacker, a leaker, whatever they want to stylize themselves as, going by the pseudonym of CyberLeak, aptly. It's been shown loads of footage showing off the character driving around Vice City at night, showing off some of the cars, showing off some of the AI, the police chases, some of the weapons that he used. And basically, Richie seemingly has a full build of the game. And I saw some people early on when all this was kind of unraveling saying, he doesn't have any more clips, because at one point he posted a poll saying, vote for which one you want me to release next. And people were saying, actually, he doesn't have the game. He's basically got a couple of clips of footage, and he's going to leak them sequentially. He's asking for money or bitcoins or something like that to basically vote to pick which one. He's trying to start a GoFundMe essentially by leaking bits and bits.
Yeah, of course he is.
He said
that's why he's a hacker. Yeah. He stole their stuff off Rockstar
for ransom.
Now he's got stuff until you. That's the grift he's in.
Do you want to drop out and drop back in? Because I think you've been hacked. There he goes. We'll get him back. Richie's been hacked. CyberLeak caught wind of Richie and thought, you know what? I'm going to take this guy with the beard down as well. So much so he can't even get back into Discord. So it looks like it's just you, me. Oh no, here he is. We thought CyberLeak got you, Richie. We thought he got you, took you down. But yeah, he went on to say that there's 2 or 3 more leaks incoming. And as I said, people just said, he's not got access to the game. He's only got a couple of clips. And then he showed a clip of a character writing his name on a wall in bullets. like graffiti style, suggesting he actually does have a full playable build of the game, which it makes you think, like, how? Like, this must be an ex-employee, right? We know Rockstar going through a lot of shit with
Hacker?
So I mean,
No.
yeah, maybe. I just wonder how you would get into it.
Hackers are pretty savvy nowadays, and
he's looking up at something. Don't know what he's looking at. Where were we? So yeah, hackers, leakers, bad internet connection aside, he's been using social media platforms, X, Discord, Telegram, writing groups. There's some impersonators popping up, obviously pretending to be him to get on the back end of the story. But yeah, Rockstar seemingly appears to be struggling to contain this as the leaks come out. More information. Obviously, it's all the rage. People want in on it. It's wild to think people actually send money to these people. Like, they've literally just showcased they are not beyond breaking the law. And then people actively, I guess, hand over their bank information or well-earned cash to someone who's... Like, are you that desperate to see what video game that comes out in a couple of weeks? Like, really? Like, that's what you're going to do?
I could see, honestly, I could see some naive kids paying money to it with daddy's credit card so they can turn around in the playground and go to their friends, I played GTA.
Yeah. Or would there be definitely thinking, like, I can get my leg up on being a content creator here and I can make exclusive GTA content before anyone else. And then little do they know, Rockstar's lawyers are waiting, powered by billions and billions of dollars in pre-orders. But it happens. It sucks. Obviously you've got to feel for all the devs and stuff who've worked so hard for 13, 14 years to keep it on lockdown secret, and inevitably the weeks leading up to when they actual ready to reveal stuff. I mean, the extended look on Netflix is literally next week.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, when did they get access to the servers? It might have been months or even a year or two ago, and they've just sat on it waiting for the opportune moment.
Cover the tracks by delaying the reveal a bit. Yeah, I think I saw an article
you
somewhere
wait
that
6
said
months.
Somewhere said the build might be like a year or two old.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't know where they've got it, how they've got it. But it's out there, so mute all of your social media things if you don't want to hear anything about it. Again, you've only got to wait a couple more weeks now. September, October, November. Couple of weeks, couple of months, and you'll have it anywhere. But not much more to say on that. I don't really want to add fuel to the fire or shine a light on people like that, so we'll move on.
Don't be a dickhead. Don't steal shit.
Yeah. As I said, GTA coming imminently. However, something that we may not see anytime soon is the new entry in the Horizon series from Guerrilla Studios. Rumours are, or I say rumours, it's Jason Schreier, so it's pretty much on the money usually, from Bloomberg. Horizon Hunters Gathering is reportedly no longer a live service game following negative feedback. Reporting from Eurogamer via Jason Schreier, because Bloomberg's a tiered-off subscription model. He said he's familiar with the company's plans, and Horizon Hunters Gathering is being changed into more of a traditional multiplayer co-op game since June in response to poor player test feedback. As a result, all live service mechanics are being stripped out of the game in favour of a story mode and on a far smaller scope. He also reports that the game's not been cancelled. However, they have until December this year to impress PlayStation bosses. In addition, many developers who were working on it have been reassigned to another project at the studio, probably Horizon 3, which is also being evaluated by executives at the end of the year. This marks yet another setback for Sony's live service aspirations, which have been continually challenging over the years. What do we think, Richie? We've got, obviously, Horizon Steel Frontiers coming out at some point as well, which is the MMORPG one, which looks cool and has a cooler name. And then I think for you and me, we had a similar vibe, didn't we, to this when it came out? It was like, what are they doing with Horizon?
It looks shit, that's why. To be honest, I'm not surprised. I think the only reason this game is coming out is because they're probably too deep in development and they need to claw back some money. So as you said, with a much smaller scope, they're reworking it for back half this year, hopefully to get greenlit into next year to get it out. And I think it'll come out and it'll just disappear and people will forget it ever existed. I really can't see them supporting it.
I think that's always the worry, isn't it? And we saw that with Naughty Dog, with The Last of Us Online, is the unfortunate reality, the kind of double side of the coin with live service is if you get something that strikes gold and it wins, Naughty Dog explicitly went to Sony, like, if The Last of Us Online is this good, we won't have time or manpower to make the single player stuff we're known for. And I think a lot of these studios that have pivoted, they've poured hundreds of millions into it. And I think the reality is, like, you should have just stuck with what you did. And I think a lot of gamers, ourselves included, look back at that PS4 amazing run they had with some phenomenal titles. And then they've kind of pivoted, and we sit here in the whole PS5 generation and go, like, where are the games we loved? And the franchise that we loved have just been kind of expanded into things we don't want.
I think it's one of them with putting 10 and like Horizon into like a live service game. Is like you look at it and go, what you've done there is you've taken other like well-trodden genres and put a Horizon skin over it, but it doesn't look like Horizon. It looks like a shit cartoony interpretation of Horizon. So you're alienating the fans of the actual main series games, but then because it's just a carbon copy of other games that already exist, the fans of them games are like looking at it and going, well, okay, thanks.
Yeah, I think we said with the opening clips, it was like, if it was an anime on Netflix, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
As a Horizon game, it doesn't look like Horizon. And then
it looks like Fortnite. It looks like what if you put Aloy in Fortnite, this is what you get.
But she's been
That's
in Fortnite.
What exactly. Yeah. This is my point. That's exactly how it looks. And as everything from the animations, how the gameplay looks, it looks very much, It's like, well, I think they don't understand who the audience is for this game.
And I think that's the problem. You've got you and me who've got the platinum in both Horizon games, if memory serves, looking at this going, nah, not for me. Yeah. If you gave me regular Horizon, but multiplayer, so Richie could just drop into my game and we'll just go hunt some animals together and get some loot. You mean like
Ghost of Yotai Legends?
Yeah.
Take on Horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could fuck around with that for occasionally.
Because
like,
so why? Like, it's one of those things you look at and go, why have you changed it enough? Because again, Monster Hunter is aspirational game to go for, and like the model of Monster Hunter, you could just take Monster Hunter, put Horizon over the gameplay loop, and it would work. But what they've done is they've changed the art style, they've changed the gameplay loop, so it's neither Monster Hunter nor Horizon, and now you're left with this hybrid Fortnite thing, which no wonder the player feedback was weak.
What's Steel Frontier is the MMO?
Yeah, that looks better.
Yeah, because that's where I feel like Horizon could work quite well as an MMO, or if you want to go with a different genre, I could even see like a survival game similar to like a Valheim.
Yeah,
but Horizon.
Yeah, because you've got the world.
So well.
Crafting would be fun. Like, start off with nothing. You just wash up a bit of amnesia, and then you have to just survive in a world of robot dinosaurs.
But you're starting off with like wooden huts, and you end up making big tech-infused fortresses.
Yeah, you maybe stumble out of a vault, don't know what's going on, but then again, this is like leadership decisions. What baffles me. The better Horizon game, it's mobile only. It's not coming to their console.
Yeah.
Decisions. So that's another one, unfortunately, that's going back in the oven.
Come on, if you want to make it a mobile game, that's fine. Put it on bloody PlayStation as well.
At least.
Have it work on both and have it seamless between them. Yeah. So when you're at work or at school, you're playing around on your phone, you get home, you bring your console, time for my fucking raid.
Yeah. Sounds perfect. But alas, it's not. We'll find out. Maybe we'll get Horizon 3 on the PlayStation 6 or something. Either way. Probably a good point to actually say, look out for our special episode in 2 weeks' time, where we're going to talk about the PlayStation 5 generation, and if it's the worst PlayStation generation of all time, which it might quite well be, but you'll have to wait to find out. Our members, of course, will get that early. Speaking of getting things early, Richie, this brings me on to our next story of the week, which, you know what? Usually when I see a Twitter post or a social media post that says Games Gone Gold, I have like a little like, great. Especially if it's one that I'm looking forward to. Midweek, this week, we got the news that Control Resonant, from the wonderful developers over at Remedy, have announced that Control has gone gold ahead of its launch of 24th of September. So a couple of weeks away, getting excited. Summer holidays out the way, starting to get darker and colder outside. And you think, I just want to settle down with a fantastic new game. However, their social media post says, Control Resonant has gone gold. Get ready to unleash Dylan Faden's paranatural abilities on September 24th. That would have been it. Just leave it there, Remedy. No. The physical release of the game, for which I have a pre-order for, I don't know if you do or not, Richie.
I don't.
But I've got the Steelbook pre-ordered because Amazon are doing a cool-looking red and black Steelbook, which looks really good. And it was a little bit cheaper as well. So I went for that one. It's pre-ordered, it's locked in. They go on the social media post to say the physical release of the game has been moved to October 15th. We need more time to deliver the physical version to you, but rest assured, nothing stays contained forever. So if you want this physically, if you pre-order the game, you have to now wait a further 3 weeks. Talk to me, Richie, because I've got a lot to say on this one.
So Game Gone Gold usually means that they're basically printing the discs. I think now it's basically been changed. The definition of Game Gone Gold is now we have our 1.0 locked in. So this delay is just... I don't know. I don't even know where to go with this. I think the delay is probably more Sony's fault than Remedy's, because Sony have been scaling back Blu-ray production, which means that they're scaling back supply for people like Remedy to make their games.
Does Sony exclusively print the discs though, or is it like surely there's third-party companies all around the world who
Sony own the technology? They're scaling back on it. Like, if Sony want to scale back on it, it gets scaled back on it. I think it might be their own factories, you know.
I guess it's a catch-22 situation where Remedy can't blame Sony because they need them essentially.
Yeah,
but for someone
personally, this doesn't matter to me because I'm not playing this game in September anyway. Because I'm playing Wolverine, and so it's going to be at least October before play Control. So it's I mean, okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, a delay ultimately I can put aside. What gets me is once again it's physical collectors, people who want something. Day one, that means for 3 weeks they're now going to have to avoid spoilers, and they're not going to be in the zeitgeist. They're going to all review discussions, spoiler casts, anything that like a hardcore gamer who would probably be there day one, who's maybe a massive fan of this franchise. Like again, how much have I waxed lyrical about Remedy, Control, Alan Wake 2, and then having me hyped for this. Now I have to wait nearly a month extra because I want their game to put on my shelf. I want to give them my money to physically have theirs preserved on my shelf forever. I get shafted.
Cynical take on this. My cynical take on this is it's not a supply issue. This is an intentional delay by Remedy to see what they can get away with, because Remedy may get a bit more profit out of the digital version than they get the physical version,
because they don't lose the physical cut, do they? To print and dispatch.
A relatively small delay, about 2-3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah,
means that people who are going to buy this game day and date may move over to the digital version rather than the physical version.
And that's what gets me is like then you're toying with people's emotions of like, again, I say emotions like first world problems and all that, but I'm going to then see people going like, oh, it's like 9 out of 10. It's Remedy's best game. Oh, it's so good. It's like, and then I have to then sit there while the rest of the world plays it because I want to hold their product, their artwork.
I feel like I want Remedy to be that company that turns around and going, we don't, and just is honest, we don't have the support. We're still printing the games. It's going to take longer to get hold of enough Blu-rays than expected.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to comment on why there is, just supply issues. So we're delaying the game until mid-October, and we'll do the release then.
Yeah.
Instead of splitting the release, it's because of splitting the release that makes me. There might be, you never know. There might be contracts with PlayStation in place where they can't delay the digital version.
Yeah, I think it stings more because it's so imminent. It's next month, except for it's not next month now for me. It's the month after. And I think that's what stings. It's like if they'd have said this from the beginning, a year ago, 2 years ago, whenever Jeff Keighley started showing trailers on every damn opportunity, fair enough. But to do it mere weeks when I'm starting to get excited for like, ooh, I've got Plague Tale, or at the end of this month, and then we've got a bit of a gap, and then it's Control, and I'm like, yes, give it to me. And now mere weeks out, I'm being told, you have to wait another month.
Yeah.
It's not fair. Like, again, first world problem, but it's not fair.
I think Wolverine softens the blow here, but I think the reason I'm just not even that annoyed is because I think stuff like this is inevitable.
Yeah.
Sony have already started the end of physical gaming. So we're going to see more and more of this. More and more games are going to be digital only, whether you like it or not. It just sucks.
Is there going to be an ultimate irony of the game's broke at launch or buggy as shit, and then the disc version is actually maybe the best version?
Well, by the time we get the disc version, I've had 3 weeks to patch it.
Yeah. And I think what's the worst bit, I guess the more irritating bit, is, as you said, Wolverine launches. And they also announced this week that Wolverine's gone gold ahead of the September 15th launch. They've also said on social media that actually going gold means the 1.0 version of the game is now complete and can be sent to the disc. They confirm the full 1.0 version of Miles Wolverine will be on the disc itself. Of course, it will have a day one patch, as everything does now, but it's there, it's playable, with no delay. So, do you think there's a problem here where maybe Wolverine's clashing and PlayStation's pre-orders for Wolverine, they're prioritising their own first party over Remedy? And they've had to go to Remedy and go, you know what, we need the discs for ourselves? Sorry.
Yeah, maybe. My generous interpretation is, for Remedy, this is a supply issue. And Sony, when they're scaling back the production of Blu-rays, is going to have guaranteed Insomniac their supply. Third parties, your second class citizen to Sony.
And then if you're physical collector, you're third class citizen. Yeah. You just move down the rungs in the ladder. The internet's not happy, of course, because the internet's not been happy since PlayStation announced dropping physical media, and they've not let it go. They're like a dog with a chew toy. They will not let this go, I think, right up until the death. I think actually this Sunday, the weekend we're recording this, there's a worldwide move or event to try and get PlayStation blackout. So people are saying, I'm logging out, I'm not buying anything from Sony PlayStation, I'm not playing my PlayStation this Sunday. Don't know really how much traction that's going to get. If you want to play a game, you're going to play a game, but they're trying to do something, bless them, the people.
The thing is, I think, fair enough, go do your protests and stuff. It's not, my brain goes, it's not making a difference.
No, not at all.
Sony have made this decision, and they've known what the reaction's going to be. They've ensure that they can weather that storm.
Mm-hmm.
They do not give a fuck if you don't play your PlayStation for en masse for one day, because you'll be back the next.
Yeah, when the next big game comes out, they'll come back, and we'll talk about all that in 2 weeks.
If a fraction of people move away from Sony, they don't care, because they're going to make more money out of this move. Yeah. So the money they're losing from you buying a game, they're going to make back from other people buying the digital version.
And they know you'll be back, because ultimately you like games and you want to play the new game. So you can say what you want, we can say what we want, I can stomp my feet on the ground, but ultimately I'll be back when the next big game comes out.
They care about the money more than the games and more than the customers.
Yeah. Again, just another third tier rung down the ladder.
Yeah.
One thing some studios and companies don't care about is the Microsoft news that studios Compulsion and Double Fine have finally gone independent once again. So they're free of the shackles of Microsoft. They've left with their IP, and that's now been official. So round of applause to them. Compulsion obviously leave with Contrast, We Happy Few, and South of Midnight. And then over at Double Fine, the Psychonauts developer, they've put out an interesting post and a Kickstarter page actually saying they are now independent. They do have their old IP. And from the Kickstarter, they say, we're going to do a game jam live on the internet in which all of our backers will get to choose which of our new ideas get made into 4 new prototypes, and which of those final 4 will become a real small game, indie game. You may even get to snag some sweet merch and rarities along the way. So that's a unique thing for the industry. Is like, you know what type of games they make. If you like them, go support them, back them on Kickstarter, and you might get to choose what game they make next. I think we've discussed before, Psychonauts 3 is the absolute shoo-in, like just to get them a bit of stability and money. Known audience, known franchise, probably known sales trajectories.
It feels like they're not guaranteeing a Psychonauts 3. It feels like they're just going to go, right, we've got a few prototypes in the game jam. You guys vote on what you like. We're going to make 4 of them into prototypes and take it from there.
Yeah.
Psychonauts could be in there, or something that becomes a Psychonauts game could be in there.
It should be.
Actually, there you go. I think there will be someone working on a idea for a Psychonauts that looks absolutely nothing like a Psychonauts to gauge it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be in there without you even realizing.
And you go, that one looks fantastic, and then it happens to be. So congrats to them. They've got their independence. They're not shut down. They've managed to hopefully save most of the jobs there, and we get some independent games, which go support them, hopefully do good. Moving on to quick fire news to round out this week's episode, Richie. The Xbox 25th Anniversary Series X is coming, and we have its price. We knew it wasn't going to be cheap. Nearly €900. It's been revealed. This is from Deal Labs, who usually get everything pretty much spot on. €899 in Europe and $899 in the US, which again, I don't know how that conversion rate works. We usually get shafted. But I'm guessing...
It's probably about £900, I reckon, in the UK.
Yeah. Gamescom reveal, surely?
Yeah.
The price is leaked today. Reveal it officially. And the console's reportedly coming November 27th. Is that the launch date for their anniversary? Or was it? Oh, it's November 19th is their anniversary date. So it's coming a little bit after the 25th official anniversary. But it looks great. It's just such a shame that something so sexy is unfortunately on a dying console generation at the back end as well. So like when people are potentially holding out and starting to save up for Project Helix, now they're going to dangle the carrot. Yeah. I guess if you've got the money, you don't care about all this stuff. And however, if you can't afford that one, you can get a brick form of the original Xbox. Not Lego, but Mattel do something called Brick Shop, which is basically, can you remember Mega Bloks when we were kids?
Yes.
It's what Mega Bloks evolved into. It's like they're Mattel's cheaper take on Lego. You can get a gorgeous looking original Xbox, fat Xbox, from there. And it looks like Lego for all intents and purpose. It's got 3 little pop-outs of Halo, Psychonauts, and Morrowind, which is a bit ironic after we just discussed the Double Fine news. But, yeah.
And Morrowind wasn't... technically, I suppose Morrowind was an Xbox console exclusive.
Yeah.
But Bethesda were not owned by Microsoft at the time, so...
Yeah, looks
there
good,
again,
though.
neither were Double Fine, so...
Build the original console fully buildable on a 1-to-1 scale with a controller with realistic details, sounds, and lights. Control activated lights and sounds. Press the controller buttons to activate 4 unique lights. It's got to be just like the startup boot noises. 3 dioramas of hit games, including Psychonauts, Halo, and Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, that slot into your console and features nano world figures, dioramas, including 1-inch nano world figures of iconic characters. So by the looks of it, you get a little Master Chief and whoever the other characters would be. And then, 3,509 pieces. It does look good.
It does look cool.
I guess it's just a shame it's not Lego. If that's a weird brand snobbish thing to say, but yeah, the original Xbox is back, and you can pre-order it on Mattel's websites now. Another quick one you can pre-order, Richie. Tomb Raider: Legacy of Atlantis is coming out soon, and they've advised us in a recent launch trailer for the date that it's going to be getting an RPG skill tree, crafting mechanics, and a focus meter, which I guess is going to modernize it a bit more. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting this day one, unless the disc version comes out later. But I don't mind it. I like the thought. Like, obviously, the old game's old. It's from 95, 96. It's dated in terms of what you do in it.
Yeah,
Surprised?
It was. No, that seems about right. To be honest, they're taking what they've learned from the survival trilogy and applying it to Tomb Raider 1. I think this is a good idea.
Yeah, there's a very true chance that if they kept it just its basic core mechanics, it might get a bit boring.
Yeah.
Especially because they've padded it out and made it longer and more detailed, and the worlds are more grand.
The original Tomb Raider, you dropped into a level, you might pick up another one weapon in the level, so you have your pistols or your shotgun or your Uzis, whatever. And then you get through the level, you go on the next level.
Start again.
And that's it. And start again, and that's about it, really. There's platforming puzzles and stuff in there, but it looks like they're really expanding the game, which I'm in for.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think, as I said, some maybe sense of more progression is probably what a modern Tomb Raider does need.
Yeah.
Because, that level hopping was good when you used to use the cheat code and jump in and like give yourself all the guns and stuff. But if you want to play this modern day, I think that's good. And we've obviously only got to wait till February. And I do think we'll see a bit more of it at Open Night
And
Live.
what I like about this is, if you want the classic Tomb Raider experience, you can play that on your PS5 or your Xbox Series X. You can just, it's still there. They're not doing the thing where, oh, we're remaking or remastering. We're going to hide the original.
Mm-hmm.
Still accessible on modern hardware, which I think for me goes a long way to getting support for a remake if you want to start changing things up.
Yeah.
Having the originals accessible. So if you want that original experience, you still can. So it doesn't ruin your experience of this franchise.
Yeah, agreed. And all that's kind of embodied by the game designer Jason Epps, quoted here on Eurogamer, saying, when I played the Survivor series 2013 onwards, I could suddenly feel the effect and increase in Lara's powers throughout the game. As a result, there's now an RPG skill tree in the game. So as you said, it sounds like they've took all the best bits from it and added them, which you and me love the Survivor trilogy, so keep it going. Shout out to IO Interactive as well. 007 First Light has sold past 4 million sales since launch, which puts it in third place of overall Bond sales. I think GoldenEye is number one. I saw a post about the other day. GoldenEye is number one, and second is Nightfire, I think. I saw a post about it, a tweet. Might not be Nightfire. Agent Under Fire?
I don't know.
Anyway, GoldenEye's number one. This is probably going to take the second spot. But yeah, new content coming, expansions, free trials. It's going to have a long tail and hopefully a sequel. So a shout out to IO Interactive. It seems like it's been an absolute win for them. Metal Gear Solid Remaster Collection has got a Metacritic of 85. Do you have any interest in this one? This is the Metal Gear Solid 3, of course, finally been freed from the shackles of the PlayStation 3 system after 10, 12 years. But this Volume 2 does come with Peace Walker from the PSP.
And Guns of the Patriots. I've got a passing interest. I don't know when I'll pick it up, but
did you ever play
on the radar? No.
4? It's 4, isn't it?
No, I never played 4. I played 1 and 2, then nothing till 5. And then, then I went back to play Delta. So I haven't played Peace Walker, I haven't played 4.
Peace Walker was essentially the PSP game that Kojima used to basically test the water for what 4 would become. So your whole like drop in, drop out, build your base, build your own crew, and then go back in. That then evolved into 4. So if you enjoyed 4, like this is the game for whoever to go back to. But
Are these remasters? They're just ports.
I mean, they kind of have to be they're not remasters. They have to like be a weird remix because obviously the PSP one will have took some good work to get it over, and the PS3 one, because it was locked to that PS3 architecture, was like hella crazy with the cell processing. So they've had to do some good legwork to get them up. So they must give it quality of life improvements.
Well, that's what I would call a remaster.
Yeah,
not a remake. A remake is when you build the game from the ground.
Oh yeah, remaster.
A remaster is where you take the original and improve it.
The trailer does look a lot sharper on PS3. That's for sure. But I just like to see it preserved and it's no longer stuck. That's it. Like I know you and me love playing through Delta recently, and was it last year?
Yeah.
But yeah, to see a PSP game and a game that's been stranded on PS3 since like 2009, I think it came out. I love to see it. And it's getting good reviews on Metacritic, which means, again, it's a Kojima game. It's just polished and better. So, fill your boots. Fill your snake with boots. Snake in your boot. And then the last two quick...
snake in my boot.
And the last two quick stories. Golden Axe, the Sega Mega Drive old school beat 'em up, is getting an animated series. There was a trailer that dropped this week coming to Netflix. Maybe in a game from 1989, Richie, but I don't know if you've watched the trailer. Looks quite fun, actually. It's like a tongue-in-cheek comedy anime. So it's not what you would expect it to be. It very much has an air of not taking itself too seriously. The animation's really good. It's like what you'd expect from like a Castlevania-esque anime. Really quick. Some quick-witted humour in there. Similar to Cyberpunk Edge Runners, I would say, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm watching the trailer now.
And obviously, in terms of just Golden Axe itself, there's no real story to it. It's a game where you could play as a man, a dwarf, a woman,
a lady,
or a lady, of course. Yeah,
man, woman, dwarf. There you're free.
Yeah, but it's got 10 animated episodes. It's from the American Dad showrunners.
I think there actually is a story to Golden Axe, because there's not like you have to go raid the enemy's castle and stuff. Like,
yeah, but looking at this, it's got. Yeah, from the American
Dad
people.
It's one of them where you have to read the instruction manual.
Yeah. What's it say on there? Grumpy battle dwarf, exceptionally poor hygiene, and a chip on his shoulder. A fearsome battle sorceress, deadly in a fight and even deadly with a sharp wit. Axe battler, a barbarian warrior with a strict code of honor and sweet golden retriever demeanor. As for Tart, he'll play Golden Axe's 3 badass humanoid panther, Kronos. It just looks fun. It's one of them where I think it could be like an interesting little breakout where no one really knows anything about Golden Axe anymore, but the quirkiness of the comedy, looks good. And then final story, Rich, as we round out this week's show, Dave Bautista, aka Batista from WWE, Drax the Destroyer, you're probably familiar, has been officially cast as Kratos in the God of War TV series over at Amazon Studios. This comes, of course, after Ryan Hurst dropped out due to his, tore his bicep? I think it was.
He got injured.
Yeah, and he wasn't going to be back in time, so God of War, Amazon just went, let's get someone else in. We discussed at the time, is that like a tactical thing on their part to like use the opportunity to get rid of him after he had lukewarm reception to his first post image that went out? But I guess Batista's like a much bigger name.
Yeah, but I'm not. I can't. I just see Drax though, and that's. I think Kratos is very different. Is a very different character to Drax. I
mean, it obviously changes the way he plays, but he's obviously lost a lot of weight recently, so he's gonna have to bulk back up to get. I mean, I can see his body fitting the format. I don't know if his acting chops are there.
Yeah, like, that's what I mean. It's like
have you seen him in? Is it James Bond Spectre where he plays the villain? And he's just such a poor Bond villain. Like, he's so unforgettable. Or so forgettable, not unforgettable, sorry. I mean, yeah. Like, I didn't really know much about Ryan Hurst other than he did the voice of... He played Thor in Ragnarok, the game. And I know he was in the... It
feels almost like this is... I hope it's not. It feels like they went for the famous actor.
Fan cast.
Yeah, to get more noise around the show.
Yeah, I mean,
rather than necessarily who's best for the role.
Yeah, but we'll probably not have to wait too long now. We'll get them straight in and start shooting some scenes because again, the young boy who's playing Trace, he's not getting any younger, so they've got to get in shooting really, really quick, or they're gonna have to recast him as well. I did see a funny clip circulating online though, where if you remember the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. There's a brief moment when Drax and Mantis go to the Chinese theater in LA, in Hollywood, sorry, and they're looking for someone. I can't remember what they're exactly doing. They might be looking for Chris Pratt's character, and a bunch of families come over and go like, "Oh my God, you're famous! You're the Guardians. Can we get a photo? Can we get a photo?" And then they pose for like a selfie with them, and then run off. And as they run off, one of the kids says, "Oh my God, we got a photo with the God of War." And it's like, what? That was like 4 years ago or something. So it was actually like said out loud with a picture of Drax, and I guess he is kind of got like that greyed skin with a tattoo on him, bald, not with a beard, but he's not far off visually, so I can see why they've went with it. But it's definitely a fan cast on my part as well. But Richie, we like to end every show by looking at back at this day in video game history. We're recording on August 22nd, 2026. What games stand out for you in the annals of gaming history?
31 years ago, Chrono Trigger. An amazing RPG on the Super Nintendo. It really needs a remake.
It does. Didn't we say it was caught up in like licensing or something?
I don't know, to be honest. It's one of them where I think Akira Toriyama of Dragon Ball fame did a lot of the artwork, but he's now dead. So who knows where the rights are with stuff like that.
True. One for me, 21 years ago, 2005, we got Nintendogs on the DS. That was huge. I remember my sister playing it quite a lot. And then
9 years ago, 2017, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy.
The last
9
Uncharted
years
game.
since we've had it. Yeah, 9 years since we've had an Uncharted.
Live service, man. Live service games. Yeah, that was obviously originally the DLC for Uncharted 4, and it got so big that spun off into its own thing. And I really enjoyed it. It was a nice palate cleanser. And I think, like me, between Lost Legacy and Miles Morales, I would quite happily take a smaller, story-driven experience every 3 or so years. If it meant we had to wait a bit longer for a main entry, that's fine. But just keep feeding us these stories. As long as
it's reflected in the price. If it's like a 50 quid game, not a 70 quid game, yeah 100%.
Well, if I remember, when it first came out, Lost Legacy, if you'd bought the full Uncharted game that was supposed to come with the DLC, you got it for free. And then it was I think, about 35 quid at launch. It wasn't a full price game. So, as you said, correct price, good story, shorter game experience. I do not mind. But that's been it for this week's episode. My name's been Chris.
And I've been Richie.
We'll see you next time. And as always, folks, play whatever makes you the happiest. Goodbye.
Bye.